We begin this afternoon with new information on a tragic story that we've been following. Moorhead police are confirming that carbon monoxide poisoning was the cause of the deaths for the Hernando Pinto family. Authorities say they received the final blood test results, and based on those, they have determined the home's furnace to be the source of the carbon monoxide. The Hernandez Pinto family was found dead in their home on December 18th. New at 4, a stretch of road west of Thompson, North Dakota, closed to traffic following a reported train derailment. Few details are being released, but it happened along Highway 15. Motorists were asked to use an alternate route during the closure. At this point, there's no word on the train or how many cars might be involved. North Dakota Highway Patrol have indicated that they were not part of the investigation. We could sure use a break in the weather. Tonight, temps again expected to drop and the wind chills will feel even colder. Hutch is here with an early look. Hutch?
Yes, it's another Arctic night ahead, and that is why it is going to be a first alert weather day for your Tuesday. Overnight tonight, and as we start our day, we'll have dangerous wind chills in the area. Here are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. Number one, we already have icy roads, but these temperatures are going to consistently reinforce the solidity of that ice on the road. So dangerous cold, icy and slippery conditions, and you do not want to get stranded out there. So a survival kit in the back of your car is a requirement. You really need it. Take a look at this Highway 57 south of Devil's Lake out there. Just solid ice and glistening roads. Hard to stop even in town. So take it slow no matter where you're traveling. Northwest winds between 10 and 25 miles per hour at times, a few gusts here and there. All in all, it's this persistent wind that's going to create some nasty wind chills tonight as temperatures plummet. So there is a wind chill warning for our entire viewing area. Right now, temperatures are below zero for most, 1 above in Sisseton, near 10 below up north, with wind chills between 20 and 30 below already, and we're heading down. Actual air temperatures are plotted here. We'll be in the 20 below category as we approach daybreak here in Fargo, likewise in Grand Forks, and your wind chills will approach 40 to 50 below zero overnight, Mike. So again, throw that survival kit in the vehicle and we'll have your hour-by-hour update. We've added another first alert weather day for Wednesday. I'll explain why here momentarily.
And it doesn't take long. You really feel those wind chills.
Indeed.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
There's new information this afternoon on an 8-vehicle crash from Friday. Had happened Highway 57 just south of Devil's Lake. Investigators say a Ford Explorer spun out on a bridge that was over Devil's Lake and stalled. Someone driving a Chevy Silverado stopped to help, and that's when another driver hit the back of the Silverado and started a chain reaction. 5 people were taken to the hospital with what were described as minor injuries. Officials say road conditions were snowy and icy that day. The Minnesota House DFL has unveiled a sweeping public safety plan. The $100 million plan includes grants for community safety, local community policing, crime investigation, abuse and addiction prevention for opiates, and to help local police buy body cameras. An additional $500,000 would go toward hiring more investigators and create a new task force meant to create recruitment and diversity within police forces. Public hearings on the proposal are slated for next week. Today's the first day of the federal trial of 3 former police officers accused in George Floyd's death. Tu Tao, Thomas Lane, and J. Alexander King are accused of violating George Floyd's civil rights by not intervening in his murder, which Derek Chauvin pleaded guilty to in the case last month. Prosecutors accused the men of standing by as fellow officer Chauvin, quote, slowly killed George Floyd right in front of them. One defense attorney countered that Chauvin called all the shots as the senior officer at the scene and criticized the Minneapolis Police Department for doing too little to train officers to intervene when a colleague should be stopped. 2 of the former officers, Lane and King, were on the force for just days at the time of Floyd's death. The standoff between Russia, Ukraine, and much of the Western world continues, and it has taken an ominous step. The United States has begun ordering American families working in the region to leave immediately. Laura Podesta reports on the weekend's developments.
Rising tension between Russia and Ukraine has prompted the United States to remove much of its personnel from the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, ordering all non-essential workers and their families to get out of the country as soon as possible. The White House is standing by the Ukrainian government and has been working to rally European allies in response to Russian aggression. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke on CBS's Face the Nation.
We've provided very significant military assistance to Ukraine. We've been taking action against Russian agents in Ukraine.
Those agents are being accused of committing so-called false flag operations inside Ukraine that Russia could use as an excuse for all-out war. The U.S. and its allies have been weighing whether and when to impose new, potentially devastating economic sanctions.
The most important thing we can do is to use them as a deterrent, as a means of dissuading Russia from engaging in further aggression. Once sanctions are triggered, you lose the deterrent effect.
Despite the military movement seen on the ground and by satellite, the Kremlin has repeatedly said it doesn't intend to invade Ukraine. Russia is also denying British reports it's trying to replace the Ukrainian government with a pro-Moscow administration. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department also warned Americans not to travel to Ukraine or Russia, issuing its highest level, a level 4, do not travel advisories. And just a short time ago, we're told the U.S. announced that it put 8,500 troops on heightened alert. Rehearsals have been held for the opening ceremony of the Beijing Winter Olympics. Some of that included performers practicing dance routines with participants ranging in ages from 5 years old to over 70 years old. The ceremony will be held on February 4th, which coincides with the beginning of spring, the first Chinese solar term of the year, and you can watch it all on KVLY. Pfizer's hoping COVID vaccines become annual doses like flu shots. Pfizer's CEO says he wants people to receive an annual COVID-19 vaccine instead of getting a booster every several months. Right now, Pfizer is looking to create a vaccine that protects against Omicron and other variants. 3 studies offered more evidence that COVID-19 vaccines are effective against Omicron, at least among people who received booster shots. New studies from the CDC reinforce the effectiveness of Pfizer and Moderna booster shots. 3 large new studies show booster shots of the 2 leading vaccines are 90% effective at keeping people out of the hospital if they are infected by the Omicron variant. The CDC says Americans aged 12 and older should get boosters 5 months after their initial coronavirus vaccine shots. The first free N95 masks have arrived at U.S. pharmacies. The announcement coming last week that the 400 million N95 masks will be distributed to pharmacies and community health centers, with the program expected to be fully up and running by early February. It's part of an effort to curb the spread of the highly contagious Omicron variant. Up to 3 free masks are available to every person in the United States. Here's another Biden administration initiative as Americans are starting to receive their free COVID-19 tests in the mail. Supplies are limited to 4 tests per household. You can order yours at special.usps.com.